should be ready, at least in theory. I forgot only about one more thing. And that would be it. And we can start up. How about this one? Okay. This one is fine. This one is fine too. Okay, so we can start. So my name is Hightech, of course, and on these live streams I talk about what is happening today in the cryptocurrency market, what I think about it, and in between the lines I explain what Hightech meme coin is. Here you have the mint address to it. It's a Solana meme coin, and yeah, I've been 11 years in this space, so I definitely have enough of expertise to give you quite an interesting insight, and my opinion definitely carries some weight. So yeah, Jesus is king, and let's go. Let's switch the screen. So first of all, it's probably worth mentioning that on both time frames, 15-minute and hourly, I received exit signals on my algorithm. But seems like it has been inspired by what was going on today in the TradFi market. Why? Because the news were pretty good. I've heard that. I did not read anything about it, but somebody told me that Trump made a deal with shipping about tariffs. I think they lowered tariffs, something like that. Generally speaking, the tensions came down slightly. So probably a lot of people were betting on TradFi, on high leverage, on longs. They were on the long side, so probably market makers saw it as an opportunity, and that's why they dipped the market, right? They dumped the market. So as you see, we opened lower, and then after a moment of a rebound, we followed. We retracted, right? It's still, I mean, we're actually still literally in the same, let's say, pocket. We've erased the previous 3 days of growth, but that's nothing, out of the ordinary. It has happened many times throughout this whole uptrend, as you see here when you look at the daily. So we are literally moving within a standard deviation. I even would say that this bump up here was actually outside of this channel boundary here. So yeah, we went even slightly overshot even. So that is why a little bit of correcting here is definitely fine. It's perfectly fine. Absolutely nothing to worry about, at least not just yet. And yeah, remember, last time when we entered the bear market, which was around here at the top, at the peak, it was in December 2021, we were starting quantitative tightening, right? And now we are starting quantitative easing, right? So many people are calling for a bear market here, hence the title. That's why the title of this live stream, what is it? Bear market begins, right? That's the title. But anyway, share, like, and subscribe, guys, if you haven't done so, because otherwise you probably will have a little bit of a problem with finding this channel next time. Unfortunately, that's how YouTube algorithms work. And yeah, and I live stream pretty much every day, mostly twice a day. Although today I did not manage to live stream in the morning, so that's why I'm doing it right now. Even though for some of you it will be morning, in my time zone it's 3 a.m. but in Americas it will be, let's say, early evening. Sorry, don't forget about that part about subscribing. So yeah, so many people are calling for a bear market, but the characteristics, the setup that we are having right now, it's so vastly different from what it was 4 years ago, when we already know we were standing in front of how long it was, like 1 year of a bear market here. Yeah, slightly. That's something around 1 year, right? Before we broke all of these bearish structures here. So yeah, it's highly unlikely that's it. Probably we will go much higher. I mean, some corrections on the way up are always. I mean, they must be considered. I mean that they literally a part of this game. So they will happen, like they've been happening here on the way up, as you see. For example, here we had a little bit of a correction, here a little bit of a correction, here, and even here we had a somewhat sizable correction. But as you see, we managed to recover very quickly, and bear market was nowhere to be seen. And it will stay like that probably for, I don't know, maybe even 2 years, believe me or not. But definitely not this year. It's not going to begin this year. Neither on S&P 500, neither on Bitcoin market, and definitely not on altcoin market. Why? Because altcoin market has not seen a bull market yet. Altcoin market is still in a bear market. So how can we say bear market begins if it has not ended in the first place in the altcoin market? So that's what makes me excited. You know, I mean, those that were trying to trade altcoins, especially on leverage these days, probably got heavily spunked, heavily burned, because as you see, we are experiencing quite a decline today. Like I said, it's probably motivated by what has happened on S&P 500. So yeah, I expect a sharp recovery tomorrow to today. Today's Friday. So on S&P, on TradFi market, I would expect a recovery today. I'm not so sure about the crypto market, because that means we have closed Thursday in red. And you know what I say about Thursdays, right? So has been Thursday, and we marked it as a red day. So probably the rest of the week is not going to be really fun. Probably is not going to be overly exciting. But I would rather, not bet on it to be overly bearish. I think we will go, in the worst case scenario, we will go somewhat sideways, and that's it. So it's not going to be like, hell is breaking loose. The least possible outcome is that we will break down from here and start a very, very aggressive move down. It can happen, but not anytime soon. Probably will go much higher before we see anything of a significant size, let's say. So far, when we look at monthly, I think, at the monthly chart, we can see that we are moving in this price range, right? This has been fourth month. This month has just one day to recover this minus 5%, which makes it red. Octobers are usually green. This one seems like it's going to close in red, which was kind of unexpected. But that could be very good news for November, because if let's say market owes us a green October and it did not give it to us, it means that statistics has shifted somewhere else, right? Because nothing in nature, nothing disappears. It can get only moved to other places. Like for example, if you create a vacuum, so make the air disappear, you actually have to move it, to another space where air will thicken. So it's kind of the same here. So that's why I expect that bullishness to be shifted over probably to November. So I will totally not get surprised if I see a very, very bullish November, twice as bullish as it's supposed to be. So yeah. And when we look on the weekly and we try to examine, has Bitcoin market done something it hasn't shown us before? I rather say no, because take a look at this. Here we had a descending channel. Here we had a somewhat of a descending channel. And here we actually also can spot a descending channel. And every single time, even here, you can make a case for it. And every single time it gave us something like this, it was just only a setup for a further push upwards. And in the light of quantitative easing of printers going burr in the United States, it makes sense. It makes sense. All of this is measured against US dollar, and US dollar is about to melt like an ice cube. So how do you expect the evaluations of these assets measured in US dollar to go down? I don't think it's reasonable, to be honest. I think sometime soon we will see like market is absolutely panicking. They will try to run away from US dollar as far as possible. They will be trying to hide it in like whatever that is not a USD, and it will be very visible here. It will be very visible here and extremely visible on this chart here. So of course I'm talking about altcoins. And here on the weekly, we can one takeaway that we definitely have is that we are resting on the zone of support, as you see, between 250 to 45. And yeah, we have pierced it through on several occasions, but candle body, as you see, stays above. So again, I read it as something very positive. Looks like bears are slowly getting exhausted, because remember, in order for this market to go down, there must be someone who is selling, right? If everybody sold, who's going to sell anymore, right? So let's say bears exhaustion is a thing. That's something that really takes place once in a while, believe me or not. So looks like, after Friday 10th, which was devastating, absolutely devastating, now we are slowly, finding a solid ground. I know it takes time. Usually it takes a little bit of time. Usually it's not immediate. It can last like a week, 2, some cases 3, especially in the crypto market after such large collapses. But it always ends up in the same. Look at COVID crash, for example, right? I think a COVID crash is a very good case study for what you should expect here. And yeah, just don't be surprised when we out of a sudden move aggressively up, because once order books on sell side get completely cleared out, what will be stopping the price from climbing higher and higher? Mathematically, physically, it will not have any, let's say, natural enemies for a time to come. So yeah, on the other hand, Bitcoin dominance is trying to bounce back up. The good news is that even though today's daily is green, as you see, it did not. The body of this candle did not engulf the previous daily candle, which was red. So that's good news. That's very good news. So looks like we are with a very decent chances of finally winning this battle here and breaking it, breaking it in two. And that's what I think will happen. That it will serve as this collapse I've been talking about for so long. I mean, the bravery of this chart is something to admire. That's for sure, but it will have to come to an end, and there is no other way around it. What's going on here? Okay, something. Okay, for a moment I got confused. Guys, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Hopefully you can hear me everywhere. Okay, let me confirm that we've got sound here. Yeah, we do. We have, so that's good. If you have any questions, of course, ask them in the live chat. As you see, I keep checking it. I keep track of it, so I give my response in time. So yeah, that's my take on what has happened today. Of course, it's never nice whenever you're in a position and you see market going the other way, going against your trade. I hate that to happen, especially in recent time, because the altcoin market has been very exhausting. It makes us wait for a very, very long time already, and on top of that, it still tries to take away whatever is left from our trading portfolios. But the worse the situation is, the closer we are to an ultimate bottom. That's a very fixed correlation. It never has been any other way. So that's the good news. The longer it takes, the closer we are. The worse it is, the nearer is the bottom. So that's the takeaway we can get. We can take out of this situation. So here is very little green bubbles here, as you see on Crypto Bubbles, but fortunately, at least one of them is my trade, like ADX. FLM, no, but ADX, I actually am in a trade on this coin, and let me show it to you. It's nothing extraordinary, but at least it's in profit. So this one is giving me plus 37% as of now. It's not like I've been having only trades like this, because like literally 90% of my trades got closed in minus because of these pullbacks that happened yesterday/tomorrow. But this one is fixing quite a lot, because on average my losses are in between 3 and 6% whenever I get a negative trade. So if I get the plus 30, plus 40, it makes up for a lot of those missed ones. And that's how your strategy should work, right? Your strategy should allow you to benefit from whatever market does, even if your hit rate is really, really low for the time being. And a good practice is to avoid futures trading completely. Just never look at it, because your margin of error there is definitely way too tight. And that is why, even if you enjoy a winning streak, sooner or later the money you generated there will be taken away from you. Because it's like ice skating. You will have to hit the ice once in a while. Even if you are really, really good at it, you will still fall and hit the ice very, very hard every now and then. Same as futures trading. So just stay away from it. That's the best advice I can give you. If you are a trader that good, trust me, in the spot market you will be crashing it anyway. So why risk a liquidation? Makes no sense. So yeah, so maybe for the rest of this week it will stay boring. maybe something occasionally will pump, something occasionally will dump, but not. It will not make much difference from what we've seen for now. And maybe finally in the next week we will get what we are all waiting for, because I was expecting from this month to give us that. It hasn't happened, and I know it's very frustrating whenever you see, let's say, all stars aligning into a very good combination and it's still not coming. But that's the only thing the market can do, right? It can only extend something what is unavoidable, inevitable. Altcoin season will have to go. Don't doubt that. Don't let anybody fool you that there won't be altcoin season. That's literally impossible. This is not how markets work, right? There's something called capital rotation, and it will have to kick in at some point. And like I said, the longer we wait for it, the stronger it will be whenever it arrives. So gold, as you see on the opposite side, is on the opposite side of trades now. I mean, yesterday slash today, Thursday, because it actually scored a green day, right? So it was plus 2%. Well, there's nothing that I could benefit from. My trade on gold got closed. I don't remember where was it specifically. Where was it? Here. It was here. It was plus 14%. I could close better because in the peak it was at plus 32. Nonetheless, it was a profitable trade. So don't judge the winners. But yeah, probably this correction on gold will also take a little bit longer. I think gold right now is in that phase of capital rotation. So those that make a decent money here are slowly rotating the capital, probably into stock market, and at least some of it will hit Bitcoin and crypto and altcoins actually, because Bitcoin is crypto too. Believe me or not, but Bitcoin is crypto. They say Bitcoin is not crypto. Satoshi Nakamoto said it is. So why are you what are you discussing? What are you discussing, right? Guys, share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget about that part. It's always super nice whenever I see a new subscriber coming. We already have 115, so that's super cool. But yeah, we need to get to 1,000 as quickly as possible. On my other channel, I'm really close to that mark. So keep up the good work, right? Okay, let's take a look at those indicators we usually review. So CoinMarketCap and Fear and Greed Index 34, back to fear level, altcoin season at 29. And on Tuesday we had outflows, as you see. No, sorry, am I saying right? On Wednesday. On Wednesday we had outflows on spot ETFs. Mostly Bitcoin, seems like. Ethereum just a little bit. Ethereum minus 81 million, Bitcoin minus 470 million. That's interesting. But probably it was inspired by S&P 500, because remember, spot ETFs are not representing what emittents buy. Those are representing what their customers buy. So, whenever, for example, there are large inflows to IBIT, that does not mean BlackRock buys. IBIT is BlackRock's spot ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF. It does not mean IBIT buys. It means that BlackRock's customers buy. BlackRock themselves, they own only 6.15 Bitcoin. And yes, you heard me right, 6.15 Bitcoin. That's what BlackRock has owned on their balance sheet, so nearly nothing, which makes it very funny whenever whenever you hear a lot of things talking about Bitcoin for $700,000, you can immediately understand, how big of a liar that guy is. Like, he completely does not believe it will happen, but that does not mean it will not happen. It can very well happen. Well, yeah, those guys are interested in collecting fiat. They are not really interested in collecting Bitcoin or any crypto. So yeah, okay, let's go over to my X timeline. Let's see what's going on here. I was live streaming like a few hours ago, a couple of hours ago, and didn't really see anything overly exciting here, but usually the later it is, the more interesting X gets, because most of the crypto news comes from United States. So yeah, Cointelegraph, crypto market bleeds despite Fed rate cuts and US-China trade deal progress. Yeah, you see, like I said, probably is because, oh, by the way, because we did not look at the liquidations, and those are quite hefty today. $470 million liquidated in longs, mostly in longs, right? Yeah, 377 in longs. Liquidated on Bitcoin and 214, almost 214 on Ethereum. And liquidation heat map, if real, sorry, it's not this one, it's actually this one. If this is not spoofed, if this is not spoofing, then we definitely should head higher, because you see there is much more liquidity above the price right now, vastly more, rather than beneath. It could be spoofing though, but I don't think so, to be honest. I think what has happened is exactly what I explained. So, people knew about very good news. They over leveraged longs. They created high incentive for market makers to, push the price down just so they get liquidated, just so that liquidity gets grabbed. And I've been explaining it for a very long time how it works. They just open shorts on high leverage and then dump the spot market, and they just grab all of that. This way they grab all of that liquidity on futures market, right? So they literally bet the opposite outcome. They make the opposite outcome and they win the bet. That's how it works, right? That's why I keep repeating to you, don't trade on futures market, because you're, from the very beginning you're gonna lose position. And it all makes sense, right? If you think about it. Guys, share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget about subscribing to the channel. That's the reason I'm here. I want to have subscribers, okay? If you have any questions, ask it in the live chat as soon as I notice. I, of course, give you my take. Breaking: Mastercard is reportedly in talks to acquire stablecoin infrastructure firm Zero Hash for around $2 billion, according to Fortune. Zero Hash? In what way they are a stablecoin infrastructure? That's slightly unclear to me, to be honest. Let's investigate. Read a post. It has some of stablecoin infrastructure. Zero Hash, often stylized as Zero Hash, is a Chicago-based fintech company founded in 2017 that specializes in providing regulatory compliant infrastructure for cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and tokenized assets. Key offering API-first technology, stablecoin infrastructure. This is my major focus. They provide the rails for stablecoin payments, settlements, and payouts. Okay. What blockchains blockchains do they use for stablecoins? Because if they give any service around stablecoins, it must be based on some of the known blockchains. Practically everything. Okay, so they just a kind of a software company, kind of that writes the software to serve stablecoins on whichever blockchain of need, and that's it. All right, fair enough. Somewhat how I imagined. Justin billionaire Ricardo Salinas says it's still early for Bitcoin. Yeah, Ricardo Salinas, I think he's the richest man in the Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Amazon is hiring crypto professionals for 400K per year salary. That could be just a rumor. But yeah, probably. I mean, they should. This. I mean, the global finance is transforming, as you see in this post. All of the major, let's say, payment processors looking heavily into stablecoin market. And I already said it, and I will repeat it once again, and I'll keep repeating it in my next live streams. Probably within 2 years, you will go to a local supermarket and you will be able to pay in stablecoins of your choice on top of it. Not only one stablecoin, in multiple stablecoins. Just in 4 trillion, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon admits live that he was wrong about Bitcoin and crypto. Crypto is real. All right. That I don't know what to make out of it, because Jamie Dimon, this guy, um, I'm not sure if I no, I definitely do not respect him, because if you say one thing and you yourself do the complete opposite, I mean, this is no one that can have my respect. This guy, I mean, he has lied so many times about different things. You probably should never listen to him. Bitcoin Teddy, spot the difference. Okay, this is like educational infographic. That's boring. Guys, share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget about subscribing to the channel. I'm glad I'm getting at least a little bit of views, 55 views so far. Could be better, could be much better, but it's better than nothing. Breaking, that was 8 hours ago. BlackRock just dumped over 100 million worth of Bitcoin and ETH. What is going on? You see, that's the most frequent mistake that you will see in crypto posts on X, that they say it's BlackRock or it's Binance or it's, I don't know, whoever else. No, it's not. It's their customers. Those are retailers. Those are not institutions. Retailers get scared, they sell, and then here you're in those I don't know what it is even, in those blockchain explorers, you see operations, right? You see transactions that happened, but those funds were not sold by the issuers themselves. Halfini predicted 10 million per Bitcoin when the price was zero. Yeah, Halfini, there is a high chance that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. Although John McAfee said when he was still alive, said that Satoshi Nakamoto is still alive, and Halfini, he passed away in 2014, if I remember correct. So that does not, much the facts, but I don't know. Maybe John McAfee was lying, purposefully. Who knows? Bitcoin say the commenting sailor, Bitcoin has been in a bull market for 15 years. Yeah, if you look at it like this, then you can make a case for it. But in this chart, Bitcoin was correcting 90% at times. So I don't think it's fair to present it that way. Coinbiro, Mastercard is reportedly in late stage talks to acquire. Yeah, this one we've seen before. Sorry for repeating it. Ethereum Foundation has launched an institution's website to onboard TradFi to Ethereum. Every single one foundation, like coin name plus foundation, is actually some sort of an organization that it's kind of a company of the coin. So yeah, they will be paying to influencers. They will be making different projects that support the coin because they are the coin, right? They are kind of the company of the coin as a product. So that's why, like for example, XRP Foundation, they pay to a lot of shields. That's why XRP is so strong, because they pay to literally an army of influencers that keep producing on YouTube and on X. So yeah, so many people, get trapped in that trap, and I think XRP is something extraordinary, and it has a lot of future. Meanwhile, it's just a marketing product. Bitcoin junkies. Treasury Secretary Bessent says President Trump's administration is going big on crypto. Yeah, you see those quotes quite often. This WC Crypto, Apple smashes expectations with EPS of $1.85 and revenue of $102.5 billion for the quarter. That was 3 hours ago. So that's bullish for the stock market. So like I said, probably, I will not be surprised if tomorrow we'll see a new all-time high. And you know what? We can actually check it. Let me quickly take a look, because I see I mistakenly closed one chart, which is Hightex chart. And remember, you can invest in this YouTube channel through my meme coin, through Hightech. In the description section of this live stream, you will see a tutorial video to how to acquire it. So that's a very interesting, proposition, very unique for me as an influencer. I don't think anybody else is doing this kind of stuff already. It's very innovative, and this is a very early stage of this market, so the upside potential here is cosmic. So let's take a look at SPYX, which is tokenized version of SPY, which is a trust fund based on S&P 500. Yeah, let's take a look. There you go. So it goes aggressively up, you see. Just last 15 minutes, it went aggressively up, almost 0.5%. So there is a chance that either we open in the vicinity of all-time high, or shortly after opening tomorrow, we will get a new all-time high. But probably crypto will not react to it anyway until Monday, because that is the rule. Recently, that's the rule, that if Thursday is bad, the rest of the week is bad. I'm getting used to that. Maybe, I mean, of course, at some point we will get positively surprised, but yeah, I'd rather count on pumps happening on Monday, not to get, you know, badly disappointed. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Allow me to wrap it up right here, and not to make it too boring. Like I said, I will repeat it once again. I do not expect markets to end here. I don't really think this is a beginning of a bear market. Overall, global finance conditions do not point to that scenario, at least not yet. I think we would need much greater escalation of geopolitical tensions in order to get something like that. And as you see, things are calming down for the time being. So I think even 2026 will be a very good year, and especially for altcoins. Altcoins are definitely up for a large rally up sometime soon, because they've been very, very punished, very, very suppressed for, I mean, since 2021. Like literally, it's been 4 years. I mean, that market has to see at least a very strong rebound at some point, and I think it's the highest time. So thank you for your time here, guys, and I see you sometime.